Good evening, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to today's program. Hey, Chooks, good to have you on the program. Kemioko, Success Mariani, Dowu, Ogbebo, Osareniro, Clementino. You guys are early bird people. Thank you for joining in very early. In today's program, we're going to be looking at the cost of studying and living in Canada. As you all know, Canada is actually one of the best places that you can go to school in the world right now. The schools in Canada, the universities, the colleges have a very high ranking, okay, in world education. So everybody has been coming to Canada to get one form of education or the other. But always what everybody wants to know is, how much money is it going to cost me to come and school in Canada? Hey, Ezadi Okechukwu, good day. Samuel Moses, thank you for joining in. Everybody asks, how much does it cost to live in Canada? Okay, so today we're going to look at how much it will cost you if you are planning to come and study in Canada. Muna, Uchechi, Dayo, you guys are all welcome. Good evening to you, Uchechi. How are you doing? I just want to pause and thank all of you guys who have been pouring in your messages, your text messages, and encouragement to our worship media outfit and on our YouTube channel. Please, if you have not subscribed this year, I keep telling people we have a new YouTube channel. It's not the old YouTube channel you used to know. So if you were subscribed to us last year, you need to go this year and resubscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? Go to YouTube and look for Worship Media with the logo WM and subscribe. Remember, if you have not subscribed for 2018, we need you to subscribe. If you've done it this year, you don't need to bother. But if you were one of our subscribers like a year or two ago, you need to go and do it again. All right? Thank you very much. One more minute and we're going to go straight into why we're here. Ike Abasi, you're here. That's good. Chinonso Niako, Ejiro Choma Olere. Thank you all for signing in. So what we're dealing today is universities in Canada, colleges. Sometimes when you hear college, it actually is a university, but they just call it colleges. Canada has increasingly become a notorious destination that attracts international students. Do you see what they said? Notorious. It's become so notorious. It attracts international students, especially in the last years, having prestigious universities, vivid student cities, and well-organized lifestyle. Canada turned into a country with high demands and high reputation. Canada has 26 universities listed amongst the best academic institutions worldwide. I'm going to take some of your questions at the end of the program when I've talked for a while. So now I'm just going to keep talking. Let's just talk a little while, then I'll come back and do your questions. So Canada has listed as one of the 26 universities. It's one of the 26 universities that are listed around the world by Times Higher Education rankings. In addition, according to OECD study, Canada was also ranked as one of the world's most educated countries. Canada is ranked as one of the world's most educated countries. No wonder you see people wanting to come to Canada to study. The very first thing that people think about is, how much is the cost of going to school in Canada? That's the primary thing that always comes to their mind. How much is it to study in Canada? How much is the school fees? So what is the tuition for bachelor degrees? The average tuition for bachelor's degree in Canada, and this differs from university to university, but the average is 6,500 Canadian a year. $6,500 a year. Now, for you to know exactly what is, I'm gonna convert it to US because since most transactions are done in US, I'm going to convert it and tell you what it is. I'm going to do a conversion Canada to US in the exchange rate. So 6,500 Canadian will be equal to 5,276 US dollars. So 5,276 US dollars. That is the average tuition fee for bachelor's degree in Canada. Okay. The expensive programs, because there are two kinds. You have the expensive programs and you have the ones that are not very expensive. But for the expensive programs, like the expensive programs here are dentistry, which is $21,000 Canadian a year. $21,000 Canadian a year. It will be in the neighborhood of something like 19,000 US dollars. And law costs about 11,400 Canadian a year. So to study law, you will spend 11,400 Canadian a year. Now, this is for tuition. This does not include other things like cost of living and other things. We're going to look at that as we go on, but just your school fees is going to be $11,400 if you're studying something like law. For dentistry, it is $21,000 Canadian. Remember, all the amounts I'm telling you are in Canadian. You can go and do a quick conversion online and to see what Canadian dollars are in US. Just do a quick conversion from Canadian to US and you get the value in US dollars. Now, tuition fee for master and PhD degrees, the average tuition fee is 7,000 Canadian dollars a year. 7,000 Canadian dollars a year. Let me quickly do this. 7,000 Canadian dollars is 5,682,000 US dollars. For dentistry, you need $21,000. For law, you need 11,400. For social sciences, so everything is not too expensive. Okay, social Zoe Oyibaba. Hey Zoe, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. For social sciences, it will cost you 850 Canadian. Those ones are not expensive. So it depends on you. If you just want to come to Canada to get an education, maybe you want that to help you towards immigrating to Canada, because education is one of the means by which people visit Canada, and then they end up, because when you come here with a degree, sometimes when you get like you pick a 2-year program, they give you a 3 years visa, and then when you study for 2 years, you have 1 more year to be able to find a job. And if you can get a job in your field, then they will count 1 year of the 2 years you spent, and you just need an extra year. So within 4 years, you could likely become a permanent resident of Canada. That's why it's very vital that people understand that you could actually become a citizen of Canada just by coming here to study. It's not a hidden thing. It's something that it's legal. The government encourages it, and that's one of the ways that people can just come here and live. You see, a lot of people, they go and give somebody about $10,000, $20,000. That's what people tell us, that they were duped. And when they could have as well just paid tuition of less than that and come here legally, get a working permit so that they can do some hours with their study and live a very normal life, not running from the law, not panicking, not telling lies, not hiding, but living a normal life, studying, making some income, and at the end of the day, if you do well, you get a job, and then you apply for your resident permit. After about 2 years or so, you apply for your citizenship and you become a full citizen, of Canada. So as much as the higher degrees cost $21,000 and 11,400 Canadian, there are courses like the social sciences. They cost 850 Canadian, and education will cost you just 2,000 Canadian. Just 2,000 Canadian is the average cost of studying education, $2,000 a year. Tuition fee for masters and PhD degrees. The average tuition fee is $7,000 Canadian, way less in US dollars. Examples of expensive degree master's degree programs are the MBA, which is 27,500. So if you're planning to do your MBA here, it's 27,500. Let me pause and take this question. Which school would you recommend for any molecular biology courses, and what are the processes involved in application? Now, I cannot right now tell you where you can find this. The school. There's several schools. It depends on the city. It depends on the specifics of the course that you intend to study. What I'll advise you is, when we are done, send us an email to admin@worshipmedia.ca. admin@worshipmedia.ca. Send us an email and I'll be able to send you the detailed answer to your question. And I can also give you websites where you can go and get more information about this particular course that you're talking about. But let's continue. So if you're thinking of doing an MBA, it will cost you about $27,500 on the average. If you're thinking of doing engineering, it will cost you $37,000. That's if you're thinking about a master's degree in engineering, it will cost you 37,000 Canadian dollars. Now, the other affordable programs, master's or PhD programs, are the design programs. Design courses are 2,000 Canadian a year, and the humanities are 1,800. So if you're thinking of coming here to do a master's degree in humanities, if you're thinking of coming here to do a postgraduate, a PhD, a doctorate degree in any of the humanities, it will cost you average 1,800. Now, the other question is, and people ask this a lot of times, but Chidi, which of the universities, because some people really don't care what university, they just want to come here and study. So they're looking for a university that is cheap. They're not looking for a name, like they already have a degree. Excuse me. They already have a degree, so they don't want any particular university. I'm just going to go ahead now and show you the universities that are the most affordable universities in Canada. The most affordable universities in Canada are these ones. Memorial University of Newfoundland. I think you should have a pen and paper. Memorial University of Newfoundland. The Simon Fraser University. Simon Fraser University. University of Saskatchewan. Athabasca University. A lot of these universities are up north, so needless telling you that these are the colder regions of Canada. But you know, hey, you can always do well in those places. But so you might consider getting a school in that place. The tuition is cheap. You already landed. You're living in Canada already. Once you're in Canada, you're in Canada. You can go to any province you like. So that could be a way of you landing yourself in Canada. Get a school. You said for masters, that's what I said. I said for master's degree, if you're thinking of MBA, it will cost you 27,500, engineering 37,000, the design courses 2,000, the humanities 1,800, masters or PhD. That's average, but remember, send us your questions and we'll give you more detailed answers. It varies from university to university and from city to city. Sometimes universities have different campuses in different universities or towns, and it changes the cost of the tuition. what's the QS ranking of those universities? Okay, for questions like this, I mean, it's not for this kind of program. You can also go online and Google. There's a wealth of information out there. We discover that when we talk about this information, so when we read it and interact with people about it, it becomes more interesting. It becomes like we give it flesh. We do a research, so you too can also do a research. When you say the QS ranking of those universities, I've just given you their names, so you have to go and look for QS ranking of these universities that I named for you, and then you'll be able to know that for yourself. But if these are the most affordable universities in Canada, it does not say that the most highly ranked universities. So Canada doesn't accept 224 straight MSc. So how about PGD schools in up north? One thing I can tell you is that anything you're looking for up north, you're most likely to get it than when you're looking for it down south. So send us an email and we'll talk more about that. So the tuition fee for the top ranked universities. When I talked about Memorial University of Newfoundland, I forgot to tell you that the average tuition fee is $1,700. For Simon Fraser University, average tuition is $6,400. University of Saskatchewan, average $7,000. Athabasca University, average tuition fee is 5,000 Canadian dollars a year. Now, tuition fee of top ranked universities. Here is a list of average tuition fee at the top ranked Canadian universities. These are the top ranked Canadian universities. University of Toronto, which is my alma mater. I and Erica, we did a program at the University of Toronto after doing, when we came here newly, okay? So we're proud to be graduates of University of Toronto. University of Toronto is one of the number one, I think it's the highest ranked university in Canada. The average tuition fee is 38,000 Canadian dollars. For University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, average tuition fee is 8,500 to 9,000 Canadian dollars a year. McGill University, so I've named University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, McGill University, and University of Montreal. So for McGill University, average tuition fee is $8,000, and University of Montreal, average tuition fee is 10,000 Canadian dollars. So among the top ranked universities, the most expensive seems to be, of course, it is University of Toronto. Way more expensive. It's $38,000 a year, and amongst them, the high ranking universities, McGill is the cheapest, but just by $2,000 difference. Barrister Call, welcome. Student living cost in Canada. I know that a lot of us who want to embark on this immigration journey have to sponsor ourselves. We have been working for a while. We're already grown up. We don't depend on anybody. We just want to hustle our way and find our way here and try to make things work. So it is important that you understand the cost of living for students here. So when you come here, what will it cost you to be a student? That's what I'm going to deal with right now. The living costs in Canada are a bit above average. That's to say that Canada has a high cost of living, but the high quality of life is guaranteed. You're going to spend a little bit more money in Canada, but what you can guarantee you 100% is high quality of life. Canada is ranked as one of the places where people have the best quality of life in the world, among the 6 places in the world that the best places that you can live in. The quality of life in Canada is very high. So one thing I keep telling people, don't be deceived. People who live in Canada, like Nigerian Canadians, we are not rich. We are rich in Jesus' name, but we're not like heavily loaded. We're not heavily loaded in terms of loose cash. The reason is because we pay a lot of taxes. You pay tax for every single thing. You make a lot of money, but then you pay a lot of taxes. But the good thing, the flip side of it is that you get everything that you could ever desire in life. Free education, free healthcare, free this, free that. Everything is working. It's a system that is working. You go to the hospital, you get the right drugs, you go to see a doctor once a year. You don't, it's your children go to school, everything is provided for them, food. It's what more could you ask for? So that is the benefit of living in Canada. You may not have so much loose cash, because once you have the cash, you reinvest the money again. So if you buy, nobody is stopping you from buying more cars, but if you buy 3 cars, your insurance is tripled. So you want, and you can just walk into a car dealership and just see. You can't brag for somebody here with a car, because if there's 2018 model of Lexus, I just walk into the car dealership. As long as I have a good record, I just walk in and drive it out. Period. And then Chidi has a 2018 BMW, and you're driving past, nobody cares, nobody wants to know. That's just beside the point. You would need a minimum amount of 1,000 to 1,200 Canadian per month for most provinces. If you're planning to come and school in Canada as a student, please know that you would need to have about $1,200 Canadian. From $1,000 to $1,200 Canadian. You want to ask me, hey Chidi, I don't know Canadian, what is it in US dollars? I'll tell you very soon. In US dollars, it is 974 US dollars at the exchange rate of 0.81 US dollars. The exchange rate today is 81 cents to the US dollar. So at that, it will cost you $874 a month to get by if you were going to come here and study as a student. Most provinces such as Quebec, Montreal, and Ottawa. However, places like Vancouver and Calgary, it will cost you 1,000 to 1,500 Canadian a month to study and live here. This is going to be your monthly expenses. So that means when you come here, you have to have a form of support that is that can raise up to $2,000. Let's just give it at $2,000 a month for you, so that you're sure that you're very, very okay. But between 1,500 to 2,000 Canadian, that's what you need. That means you have to hustle. You have to double your hustle when you come here. But I keep telling people, if you can make it in most parts of the world, you can make it in Canada, okay? Because the system is working. So what the efforts you put elsewhere, you have to put only about half of that effort here to make as much as you need to make. As long as you're not lazy, as long as you're a hustler. Everybody that comes here, you have to hustle the first time. As long as you're focused on what you're doing and you don't get carried away by the traffic light and the and the street lights in the night, you're gonna make it. There are many housing options to choose from in Canada, and equally diverse price range. The main housing options for students in Canada are student residence. Prices are between 250 to 625 Canadian a month. That's what you pay for student residence. That's like student hostel. So for student hostel, you pay about 250 to 625 Canadian a month. Okay, that is different from the other things we talked about. Now, for some people, if your parents are well-to-do and they can afford it, I know some people who come here and then they buy a house, and their students, their children can go to school from that house. They rent other parts of the house. If you have money enough to buy a condominium, you buy a condominium, rent one of the rooms, and then you go to school while living in one room. There are so many options, okay? You can buy, like the kind of business we do here, we rent fully furnished apartments. So as a student, if you can find one of those, you find a room that is fully furnished, you stay in the room and you share kitchen, sometimes share kitchen and bathroom with people. That could be a way of minimizing your cost. And university provided homestays. Usually rates start from 400 and can lead to 800 Canadian. The homestays are a little bit higher. Let me describe what a homestay is. A homestay is a house that is run by a landlord, but the landlord lives in that house. A lot of times it is women or in a family, a man and a wife, they are retired, and the wife opts to, they rent other rooms in the house. They stay in one room and they rent maybe the other 2 or 3 rooms. They rent them to students. The students stay in their house. They eat at their dining table. They make use of all the other facilities in the house. So they are like, they live like children in that house. They cook for you. They take care of certain things for you. So the student doesn't have to bother about feeding and about so many other things. Those are called homestays. And for those homestays, they're a little bit higher than the student residences. They're 400 to 800 Canadian. Remember, your feeding is included in that. Now, the last option mentioned here is share an apartment. To share an apartment with someone, so students can rent an apartment where they allow you to share. So 2 or 3 people can rent an apartment or more, depending on how big it is, and share the cost is 250 to 700 Canadian per month. Prices for rent depend on location and facilities. The closer you are to downtown, the more expensive it is. That's the rule of thumb. The closer you are to downtown, the closer you are to the school itself. Buildings around the school are usually more expensive than buildings a little distance away from the school. Other costs associated with accommodation: when you rent an apartment or studio, you would have to add extra expenses to the rent price, such as basic utilities, electricity, water, heating, garbage. 150 Canadian dollars, that's what you're going to spend. So if you rent the normal house and say, oh, it's cheaper, let me rent it for $250 or $300, you may have to also pay for garbage, you pay for your heating, you pay for water, you pay for electricity. All that could come up to 150 Canadian a month. And sometimes they charge you 57 Canadian dollars a month for internet. What about food? How much will it cost you to, because you don't have time, you're a student, you want to buy food, around, you're not cooking. You won't spend too much on food bills, just around 200 to 250 Canadian a month for shopping from the local supermarkets and groceries. Some of the cheapest supermarkets you can find all over Canada are the Canadian Superstore, Walmart, and No Frills. Those ones you'll find out when you're here. But what's important is that you need about $200 a month. If you wish to eat in a restaurant, you will have to pay around 10 to 25 Canadian. A 3-course meal for 2 people, like the day you find your girlfriend and you want to take her out, you're gonna have to prepare to spend $60 Canadian just for one night to show her that you are too much. Otherwise, you can go by yourself and eat a meal of $10 to $25. That one you don't have to show off. Just cack yourself in one corner, eat. Don't drink pop. Just eat the food. Ask them for water. They bring tap water in a cup. You drink it with style. Finish eating, clean your mouth. But know they talk within the chop. Alright, that was a bonus. Anyways, transportation cost. Students enrolled in a Canadian university aged 18 to 25, they will benefit from discounts when purchasing the monthly transport pass. So if you're a student and you're between the ages of 18 and 25, that's another thing people you need to understand. This age thing cuts people off a lot when you're applying for university here. Here is a list of specially designed awards for international students. There's so many awards and so many scholarships, but this is just for international students. So listen to this. Scholarships provided by various Canadian universities for master's and PhD studies. Then you have scholarships available to non-Canadian academic institutions to facilitate collaboration with the local academic community. They have scholarships available to foreign students for study, for research in Canada. Those are the ones that should interest us most. You have to do a research for yourself. Go around and see there's so many opportunities that abound all over the world, all over the internet, to help people who want to come and study here in Canada. Now, if you are starting to consider studying in Canada, you should not forget that in order for you to do that, you need a student visa. Hop up to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe when you get there if you've not subscribed. But we have a full video on how to apply for immigration to Canada. So studying is part of immigration. So there you would see where to start. You will see where to begin to look for a student visa. You see how to find visa in Canada, how to look for visa. The authentic website, we talked about it on our YouTube channel. So when you get there, you're going to see how to apply for your student visa. That is our program, our broadcast for today. I want to thank you for coming on the program. Don't forget, I keep hammering on it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Worship Media on YouTube. Look for the WM sign and subscribe. That will help us to keep doing this work that we try to do. And for a lot of you that follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere, would like to keep thanking you for your support and ask you to keep hanging in there, and it's gonna get better and better. Don't be distracted by anything that you see that don't fall in line. We need to be focused, and that's really what we are. Thank you so much from our Toronto studio. This is Erica and Chidi signing out.